I am ranked number one. One! That means I'm the best.
Charles Hatley obviously thinks he was tricked into signing something by Don King, and he's suing him 13 days out from his title shot against Jermell Charlo, the WBC super middleweight champion. Hatley is 31 years of age. I don't know much about the guy, but it looks like he's been inactive for near on a year and a half, from what I'm seeing here, unless BoxRec have got it wrong. His last fight was the 11th of November 2015 against Anthony Mundine. I believe Don King was promoting him when he had the Mundine fight. That's what I believe. I could be wrong. And the fact that Don King was able to secure him a title shot when he's been so long inactive, how did he get a number one ranking by the WBC? He needs to really reevaluate what he's doing. Now, I don't know the ins and outs, and more things will come out of the contract. The people representing Hatley and his legal interests, they'll let us know, or information will start to flood out from the judicial process. But the fact that you got a number one ranking and you've been so inactive, and no disrespect, Anthony Mundine in 2015 is not blowing anything out the water. Saul Roman, although I guess he did fight Mundine for a WBC silver belt, so maybe that bolstered up his ranking. But if they ranked him number one after that, the fact he was either able to maintain that ranking for a year and a half, or Don King fast-tracked him into the number one position. Come on, man, that's sterling work by Don King. It might not be all above board what Don did. You'd have to question how he did it. Better yet, question the WBC, how he got that ranking. But sterling work, nevertheless, for his fighter. Don has always had a good relationship with the WBC. Let's just leave that there. I'll say no more. I don't want to catch a lawsuit myself. Come on, man, that's sterling work by Don King. It might not be all above board what Don did. You'd have to question how he did it. But sterling work, nevertheless, for his fighter. Even Hatley's manager, Lee Holliday, said Don King has been pretty much transparent, which means Don has made it plain and simple. You give me this, I give you this, I give you that, and you give me this. Simple. There's no blurring lines, said Hatley's promoter Halliday. And I was very disappointed, to say the least, regarding the lawsuit. This is an unprecedented situation 2 weeks before the fight. It's certainly totally unfair to a promoter who has worked very hard to get us this world title fight. It's totally unfair to a fighter who should be thinking about nothing but the fight of his life. Hatley's former attorney, L.A. Colton J. Walls, praised King as a legendary promoter. Unfortunately, it is easy to get caught up in the caricature and not appreciate the greatness he has achieved, Walls said. The Hatleys are hard-working people who have a certain mistrust of boxing institutions, which I can understand. Apparently, done a deal with co-promoter and manager Al Heyman after Hatley signed a promotional agreement, and then followed that up by signing a bout agreement. Well, something's obviously troubling him, but he really has to realize, and in all truth, you have to ask how Don managed to pull them strings to get him a title shot, in all honesty. How did he get to number one? By being inactive for 1 year and 6 months. How? It was Don who got him the ranking, and Don who got him the title shot. How? What is he, Challenger Emeritus or Emeritus or Emeritus, however you pronounce it? Well, there's no loyalty in boxing, you know what I mean? Listen, Don put Charles Hatley in a great position, and he's still in a great position. He takes on Charlo, and we'll see what he can do, and we'll see what the lawsuit brings up. Very strange story. Don King himself said, "This is the craziest thing he's ever seen. He sues me after all I've done for him and his father." Mr. Bashir, he said, "This is just terrible timing for Charles to be engaged in this kind of action, especially at this critical time in his career. This will certainly have an effect on his mindset entering the fight and could wind up costing him severely. Bad timing." I'd have to agree. Now, I doubt Charles Hatley is going to see this video before his title shot, but if any of his people see it, if you are trying to use Don King to get a leg over, into that title shot and then dump off the Don like some hooker that you just picked up cheaply, nutted up in, and now you want rid of. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Do not do it. Don't fuck with Don like that. Don't fuck with Don like that. You might be old, but don't be fooled.